Hi, this is Lisa Louise Cook, and in this Genealogy Gems video, you're going to be hearing from my special guest presenter, Gina Philibert Ortega. It's always fun to hear about the websites that other genealogists are using, and Gina is going to share 25 of her favorite. So let's jump right into it with 25 websites for genealogy.
All right. We've really talked about digital collections, but let's talk about a few more digital collections. You know, we talked about newspapers, we talked about Ancestry and FamilySearch, all of those have digital collections, but I want to focus on a few others that you might find helpful. So, number 18, DPLA, the Digital Public Library of America. Now, if you don't know about this, I highly suggest you start using it. It is free. It is a kind of consortium of various libraries, archives, and museums in the United States that have made available their digitized collections to search on this website. This website doesn't own those collections. They are merely kind of a finding aid to them. Once you find what you're interested in, then you click, you make your search, you click on what you're interested in, and then you click on the website who is the host of that item. And you can learn how to download, you can learn any kind of copyright restrictions, you can do all of that. Now notice that they have images, they have text, so books, they have videos and sound recordings, so a little bit of everything. And although these are American libraries, museums, and archives, there is some content that is outside of the U.S. because they have content from outside the U.S. Now, unlike the other websites where you have a subscription or you have a sign-in, you do not need a sign-in. In fact, there is no sign-in for DPLA. What happens is it actually allows you to create lists, and it notices what your, what address you're coming from, your internet address, and anytime you access DPLA from that internet address, you can see your content. So when you save things, it will not be useful if, for example, you're somewhere else and not home, but it can be useful when you're at home. Now we're going to browse by a keyword again. Keep in mind that it's unlikely you will find something if you put in your ancestor's name. I'm not saying you won't at all, you might, but for the most part you're going to want general keywords like a place or an organization. It's not a genealogy website. So here's an example. I put in yearbook. There were 56,000 results, so that's way too many, right? So then I might want to go ahead and add some keywords like California or Los Angeles, California, or the name of the school. Notice at the far left, just like with any library or archive, there's a way to refine your search. Now, for this search in particular, it's not as useful, except that you can narrow it by a year range. So that might be helpful if I need a year range. So you can see there's digitized images of each of the yearbooks. I click on it, and then I can go to whoever the host site is, and I can look at the whole yearbook. So it really has some nice genealogically relevant records. However, you most likely aren't going to find it by putting in a name. So keep that in mind. Now, do you see up at the kind of top of the yearbooks, there's an orange button that says create a new list. You can create a list. Let's say you call it Los Angeles County, California. And everything you find for LA County that you think is useful, you can set up a list and save everything on that list. And like I said, as long as you access that list from, like my home computer with my internet address that it's going to detect, I can access those lists. You do not have a sign-in or anything like that. All right, let's talk number 19, and that is Google Books. I really feel it's vital to talk about digitized book websites because I think that they offer us so many millions of books and periodicals that are useful to our genealogy. Now, I know that premium members of Genealogy Gems know all about Google Books because Lisa Louise Cook has taught about Google Books for years. But I just wanted to remind you about it. You would use any kind of word you want, whether it's your ancestor's name, the name of the place, or some other keyword. Keep in mind that if you are signed in to your Google account, you can access an additional feature called My Library, which you see under this search box, and it's kind of in purple. My Library allows you to have virtual bookshelves that you save things on. And then when you're traveling, when you're at a research trip, you're at a library, you can, with the internet, access your account, look at your My Library bookshelves, and take a look at what you've already accessed, what you already know about, so you don't duplicate your research. All right? Now, just as a general example, I did this city directories. I put it in quotes, so it would be an exact phrase search. Notice that we have under those buttons, any view, any document, anytime. That allows me to narrow this by a type of publication. That's in any document. Anytime can be a date range or a specific century. Or any view is going to be whether it is a snippet view, a full view. You know, a snippet view is not going to give you as much as the full view or the free view. So here I did city directories, and you can see there's one for San Francisco, there's one for Flint, Michigan, there's some Grand Rapids, so they do have some city directories here. I could do a better search by adding a place as well and rerunning this search. Now, also notice that these first 4 results all say read. That's because they're free. And so I can read them online, I can save them to my virtual bookshelves, and I might be able to download them as well. So if they were not the whole free, public domain, then it wouldn't say read. Now, I wanted you to notice something. I told you there was that any view, any document, anytime. That was under Tools, which I have a red arrow going. The document allows you to narrow your search by books, magazines, or newspapers. Now, we didn't talk about this, but another newspaper site is the Google News Archive. Now, they stopped adding to Google News Archive a long time ago. But one easy way to search that collection is to do your search maybe on a name. When you get your results, then go and click on any document and do newspapers to see newspaper results. Okay? That's Google Books really quick, but it should be one of those things that you always take a look at. All right, let's do number 20. We're getting close to the end here. Here's FamilySearch again. I wanted to show you something. So go to FamilySearch, go to Search, which we talked about already up at that top toolbar, and then click on Books. This is the FamilySearch digital library. Now, we talked about the catalog in the beginning of our time together and how important it was, and that it includes books, but it includes FamilySearch digitized books. So only books that have been digitized by FamilySearch, either at the library or one of the centers. The FamilySearch digital library is not just FamilySearch books, it includes their partners, which is about 12 different partners. I think one's in Canada, the rest are in the United States. I think there's one in Arizona, there's a Florida library, there's Allen County Public Library, the Genealogy Center. So there's various institutions that are collaborating. There's over 500,000 books. Now, some of these books, when you do a Google book search, you might find. It's just another way to search and find books that you need. So when you're at FamilySearch, make sure to also look at the digital library once you've done the catalog or before you do the catalog, because it includes things that are not in the catalog. Now, one other hint I will tell you, when you do your search and you get your results, it will have on the left-hand side a way to narrow down some of those results. And one of the options will be whether it's public or private. I always click on public because that way I don't get results that I have to be at a specific library to see. There might be some kind of restriction put on that item. You don't have to do that, but that's one of the ways I narrow down my search. The other thing I will warn you about is you do a search and it'll say something like 300,000 results. That's not necessarily true. So, take the results number with a grain of salt. All right, number 21. Here is another digitized library, but so much more, and that is Internet Archive. Now, Internet Archive has digitized books, they have movies, they have digitized microfilm, they have audio and video in their collection. Now, this is a collection that they have digitized, that they have invited various institutions to add their digital copies, and that includes Allen County Public Library's Genealogy Center. They have about 130,000 items, including microfilm. BYU's Family History Center has stuff on here, so lots of various libraries, US, Canada, probably worldwide. So they have their content, they have other institution content, and even individuals who have taken their collections, digitized them, and made them available. So really, you never know what you're going to find. Now, if you are new to this website, or even if you're not, and you haven't added a sign-in, I would do that. Because with a free account, you can borrow books. So I have found this helpful many times when they have a book that isn't in the public domain that I need, they allow you to borrow them, sometimes for 24 hours, sometimes for longer. If it's only a few hours, you can keep borrowing it. They don't allow you to renew, but they do allow you to keep borrowing it. So it's a really helpful thing to have that opportunity, and it's all free. Now, you can search this site in a lot of different ways. I'll tell you my personal opinion is I think Google Books is easier to search. But what that means for you is as you're searching Internet Archive, you're going to have to just keep at it, whether that's searching by name or by a keyword. Now, notice on this screenshot, there is an orange book that looks like an open orange book. That is the text collection. You can click on that and you can do American libraries, Canadian libraries, or other topics, including additional collections, which has the genealogy category. So there's different ways to browse and to search. The other thing, if you're not aware of this, and you can see on this screenshot, is the Wayback Machine. Let's say that you found information on a website and that website is gone. You can put the URL into that search engine and it will, if it has it, show you a cached version of that website. And so that can be incredibly helpful when you have lost information, you know where it was, but that website doesn't exist. So that's another thing you can use Internet Archive for. Although I find it sometimes tricky to find things, really what I suggest is for you to just spend some time searching, browsing, and seeing what they have. So for example, remember that front page, there was that orange book. I clicked on that book, and then I clicked on additional collection, and then genealogy. And this is what I found. All right. Now, there were 42,000 results. However, I will tell you, Allen County Public Library's results are on their page. They're not in the genealogy section anymore. But you can see there's everything from Reclaim the Records, which is doing work, going and accessing records that should be public, and they put them on their Internet Archive page and here as well. There's U.S. state censuses from the microfilm, so you're going through the microfilm. There's some crew lists. There's a little bit of everything. So it's a great place to take a look. Now, once you're on this page, let's say you're on the genealogy page, you can, at the top, search just this page. Sometimes drilling down to a collection and then searching is sometimes easier, especially if it's a result. You're going to get tons of results because it's a common name or something like that. All right, number 22. Another digitized book website is HathiTrust. So what I tell people is search Google Books, search FamilySearch Digital Library, search Internet Archive, and then search HathiTrust. Now, HathiTrust is different than those other websites. It's different in that it is a collaborative effort between some large libraries, public libraries, and some university libraries, where they have added their digitized book collections. Okay, so that's great. However, you have to sign in with that institution's card or be at that institution to have access to 100% of HathiTrust. So, doing a search, you may not have access to everything. Some of it may be locked. Now, a good portion of it is available for free while you're at home, to anyone. So a lot of what we want is public domain stuff. And so that is most likely going to be accessible. Whenever I find something that isn't accessible, I always go to Google Books and try to find it there because sometimes I find it there. About 90% of their content was digitized using Google. So sometimes you find it on Google Books. All right. Just like the other websites, you're going to search by a keyword. And then once you do that search, you're going to go through your results. Now, another drawback, if you're not in one of their partner institutions or you don't have their card, the partner institution's card, is that you cannot download books. You can download individual pages, so that's another drawback. But if you go to the website, look under that About and Member Libraries, you can learn more about that. I highly recommend using the site. I find it useful for things like periodicals, Ladies' Home Journal from the late 1800s, early 1900s, that sort of thing. Lots of government booklets, all kinds of public domain content. So here's a general search I did on the word genealogy. You can see that I've got my search results here in the middle. There's 365,000 results. That's a lot. So over on the left, I might want to go ahead and narrow that down. And I can do it by language. I can do it by data publication. I can go ahead and redo this search and maybe add a word. But there's all kinds of different searches you can do. You can even search your ancestor's name. All right, let's talk libraries. Now, libraries are something that we should be using, both libraries and archives, and we'll talk about archives as we finish up. But libraries are something we need to use as we research.